Hi, today we're going to be designing a custom chip bag. Let's get started. Hello, and welcome back to Harriet's Custom Computer Art Plus. I've been away for a bit, took some time off during the holidays and then dealing with some other issues, but I'm back now and getting back to work. So if this is your first time on my channel, thank you for stopping by. Um, Feel free to subscribe by hitting the subscribe button. Hit the bell if you'd like to be notified the minute I have new tutorials uploaded. Today I'm going to be working on a custom chip bag for a Tangled birthday party, or Rapunzel, the Disney movie Rapunzel Tangled birthday party. And so I'm going to be using this image to make a chip bag, and also I'm going to be adding in this child's picture. First, I just make a blank sheet by hitting here in the top corner, right next to where it says projects. There's a little piece of paper, and I hit that paper so that I could bring up a sheet for a chip bag. And as if you don't already know, a chip bag is just a full sheet of paper, 8.5 by 11 inches. Now, rather than using a template, I just basically create my own guide for how to do it, and I've shown this in another tutorial, I believe, but I use guidelines to divide the bag into 3 sections. So I'm just going to go here to size and position, alignment guidelines, alignment guides. It's the last box on the bottom. There's a sub menu here that you will see if you watch some of my earlier videos, so you'll know all the sub menus that I use. But in this particular screen capture, it does not always show the sub menus, so I let you know exactly which one you're going to use. But I suggest you watch some of my earliest tutorials so that you'll see the drop down menus and you'll know what I'm referring to. Alright, so once you click on size and position, the menu drop comes here, and there are 3 rows, and the bottom row is 9 apples with guidelines in it. So I'm going to click that box. It brings me here where it has vertical guides or horizontal guides. I want 3 vertical guides, so all I need to do is click vertical guide 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Even though they line up, it's 3 there. And however many guides, if you decide you need to break something up into more sections, you just hit more guidelines. So I'm going to go ahead and hit done. And now I'm going to set this page up to make a chip bag. All you have to do is take this one guideline, you're going to move it over until it's in the middle, or appears to be in the middle of the midline to the outer left line. And I'm just eyeballing this, and that looks pretty good. You can always go back and adjust later if you need to, but as long as you get it pretty close, because your design will still come out very nice. I'm going to take the second line and I'm going to do the same thing on the right side. I'm judging from this line toward the center, and I'm trying to get it down the middle. So that's pretty close to perfect. If it isn't, it will still work because I'm so close to it. It will still make my lines and my sides of the chip bag come out looking good. Now, as you know, these two will be the back sides of the chip bag, this left section and this right section, and this is of course the front of your chip bag. So I'm going to start by bringing up that graphic that I want to work with, and I'm going to position it within the 2 middle grid lines. Actually the 2 left and right grid lines along the middle of the grid line. And you just saw me make a faux pas that I always say do not do. Never resize your pictures by the middle, top, or sides. Always use the side guidelines, because those will keep your pictures in the proper proportion, and you definitely always want to keep your pictures in the proper proportion. Now I was going to drag this down some because I like to add my faux crimped edge to the top here. I hate using the crimper. I think it takes too much time. So I designed a faux edge that I use for all my chip bags, and so I'm just going to open that up right quick. I save it in a file. I actually make it in every color so that I can use it whenever I want. I'm going to start with this pink one, and then I'll adjust. Well, I'll start with the white one, the grayish white one, so I can show you how I make it match everything. Okay, so this is the original image, and it's in black and white. I'm going to go back to the chip bag where I was starting off with, and I'm going to drag that edge up to the chip bag. And as you can see, I just have the top and bottom edge, and the inside is clear. Now, all of my quadrant markers here on the corners and sides have disappeared, and this seems to be frozen. So this is just something that happens from time to time. All you have to do is open up any of these functions like that, close it right back down by hitting done, don't make any changes, and then all of a sudden you see your markers reappear and you can move it. So I'm going to move this all the way out to the left edge, and then I'm going to drag it all the way down to the right edge. And now with this one I can move it up or down because it's not going to change the way that the crimped edge look. It will just become wider or thinner. And I'm going to go for a little wider crimped edge. So now I'm going to change this to the color that I want. And the birthday girl likes pink, so I'm going to use the pink, the color. I'm going to change it to the color pink that's in the blouse of this Disney character. So I'm going to go here. First I'm going to scroll down a little bit so I can see my edge. Click on it so that you'll know that that's what you're working with. I'm going to go here to touch up, and then the first row, third picture says correct tint, and I'm going to click that. This brings me to this color wheel, and this is where you can take anything that's black and white or any other color, but you really only want to do this with black and white if you want to get the true color. And I'm going to move this ring over first of all to try to get close to that pink, and then I'm going to move my slider over a little bit to bring out the richness of that pink. Now this is the area where I first just match it to the pink, and then I can go and fine tune that in another function. So I'm going to go ahead and hit done here because that's looking pretty good. I'm going to zoom out and see how much I like it. Now personally I would have liked to have done this and I still might change it to this orange background because I think that looks better with it, and then just make the writing to match her shirt. So I think I'm going to try that because I really prefer to have or either I could go with one of the rosier pinks that you see in some of these, but I think I want to change that to like an orange color. So to change it to an orange color, I'm just going to hit the back arrow to take it back to black and white. I'm going to go back to touch up, correct tint, and then I'm going to take it over toward the orange side and then drag it toward the right until I get it about to the shade I want. I might want a little more red in there, so I'm just pushing it more toward the red to make it more match the colors better. Now that looks much better with this background rather than the pink, but I have to incorporate that pink in here, so I'll use that for her name. So I'm going to go here to cut out in picture. I'm going to choose the third option on the first row that's add a colored shape, and I'm going to change that shape to a square. I'm going to move it here to one side, shrink it down to a rectangle, and as you can see right now it's on top of my faux edge, but I'm going to go ahead and hit done, and I'm going to drop it by clicking here on it in my right hand layers panel. I'm going to drag it down underneath the faux edge or faux crimp, and then I have it right there. Now that color almost matches, but I want to make it a gradient, so I'm going to go here to paint and color effects, fill with the gradient, which is the third choice, the rainbow star here in the second row, and I'm going to choose on custom a custom 2-color gradient. It automatically defaults to the red and the blue, and now I'm going to change it to this peachy orange and the royal blue, or the darker blue that is in the sky. So I'm going to click on the top one, go ahead and switch it, one of them to the orange here. I'm going to click done. Then I'm going to click the bottom color wheel, and I'm going to click in the blue so that I can get that rich blue. Now it kind of looks dull here, but I'm going to click around until I get it to a shade I like. And actually I like this darkness, but I'm going to make it more rich by clicking here in the center. This is the color saturation arrows, and I'm just going to click up a few times, and it's going to make that blue a richer color. Now it was so close to 100, it goes all the way up to the 100 and all the way down to 0. So I'm going to click done, and I'm going to click done again to back all the way out of this. Now I'm going to come here and I'm going to switch this to a different pattern. You could switch on any of these patterns and change it up by change your gradient up, going in any of these directions. They have all kinds of choices for you to use. I kind of like this one, so I'm going to go with that one. I'm going to click done, and then I'm just going to go here to paint and color effects. I'm going to choose change color, which is the first choice at the bottom, and once again I'm going to hit the fine tune. In the fine tune area, I'm going to click on saturation, and I'm going to make the colors pop a little more. So I'm just clicking and eyeballing it to get it to where I want it. And I might have to darken it a little bit because I don't want that blue to be too bright. Okay, that works well. I think I want to make this a little darker to match the color that I've changed it to. And as you can see, those colors are still in there. So I'm going to click my outline. I'm going to go to paint and color effect. I'm going to go to change color, which is the first choice in the bottom row, and I'm just going to adjust it to make it blend in more with my border. I mean my gradient here. And I'm going to darken it a little bit so it'll blend in that much better. Actually, I like that better. And then I'm going to increase the saturation a little bit as I darken it, so that it will still be colorful. And I'm going to hit done. So now that I have this one made, all I have to do is go here next to the scissors, hit copy, and then paste, which is right next to that. The copy, it looks like 2 sheets of paper together, and the paste is a clipboard. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go here to the right side layer, and I'm going to drag it underneath the faux edge, crimped edge. So now we're getting somewhere. Now I like this portion. I want to keep as much of that as possible. So I'm just going to slide my picture down until it's just right at the edge, so that I'm getting all of those little luminaries. I think that's what they call those, and getting rid of just a little bit of the water. I'm going to resize this picture inside just a little bit to make sure that it stays behind my back panels. So I'm liking how that's looking a lot. Now I need to add in the birthday facts and all that stuff. But before I do that, I'm going to add in the picture of the little girl. So I'm going to zoom in because I want to put her in the boat with them. So I'm going to zoom into the picture, and I'm going to put her right in here. So in order to put her in there, I'll have to crop out a portion of him and a portion of Rapunzel so that I can fit her in. So I'm gonna, now that I have my center point, I don't need this line down the middle anymore. I'm just gonna grab it by clicking on the left, the left button on my mouse, and hold it and just drag it out to the side. And now I'm going to zoom back in, to the area that I need to crop. And she's going to go right about in here. So I'm going to start at her shoulder, at the hair around her shoulder. Actually, I don't even have to go that high, but I'm going to go ahead and start at her hair and then go here and around his fingers and arm and head. And then I'm just going to crop out a shape. The rest of it, it doesn't matter where I make my line. I just need this area to be open. So I'm going to go here to cut out in picture. I'm going to go to cut out of picture, which is the first choice on the first row. And then I'm going to go to tracing on my own. And I've zoomed in as much as I can. And so I'm just going to start cropping around her hair. And I probably really didn't need to go this high, but I'm just going to go ahead since I started. And I'm just, wherever you, as you drag your line, you click whenever it starts to change from just a straight line. So as it starts to curve, everywhere I hit where the curve starts to change, I'm going to click one time. And that will keep me on the line that I need to be on. And now I need to go around his arm. And if you make a mistake, like if I clicked out of there and I didn't mean to, you just go here where it says undo your last action. Before you click anywhere else, you just click that undo your last action, and it takes you right back that step so that you can make your correction. And looks like yeah, I'm good. So I'm just going to continue going around his arm. And I'm doing this pretty quickly because if I don't get it exactly right, I'm going to show you how you can go in and correct it after the fact. So I'm just going to kind of curve around his fingers because I don't feel like taking the time, and I'll go back and fix it. So I'm going to go all the way down the oar, and now since I have some straighter sections, I'm going to go ahead and start clicking again. I'm going to be careful going around his face so that I don't get rid of any of his features. And I'm almost done because I'm going to stop once I get around just the front of his hair. So that's all I need for that section. So now I'm just going to draw any kind of shape, bring it back around so that I can meet up with that flag. And I'm going to click it one time, and that's the area I want to cut out. But now this, while that flag is yellow, I can go in here and I can make corrections in the areas that I didn't really get on the right line that I needed to be on. And whenever you click on the line will turn pink. Let me do it over here so you can see it. You see the line turns pink. So whenever it turns pink, then that's where you can go in and adjust it so that you're getting your line exactly where you want it. So I'm just going to make a few adjustments. This part I don't really have to worry about. It's mainly the front of his hair that I need, which is where I'm going to place the cutout of the little girl. And this is the same way that I cropped the little girl out of, or Talia is her name. This is the same way that I cropped her out of her background. So I think I have this where I want it. I just need to pull it around his fingers a little more. And this type of crop takes a little longer, but this gives you a very nice crop, a precision crop. So it might take a little longer, but it's worth it to make your projects and your items come out looking great. Need to fix that a little bit. I did a good job on her. So this is exactly what I need. So I'm going to zoom out a bit so you can see. I'm going to hit that flag again to say that I'm finished making adjustments. And then I'm going to hit done. So now usually you wouldn't move this, but I'm just going to show you the cutout. So there's the cutout, which is what I need so that I can place her behind. So I'm just going to click my back arrow so it'll put it right back where it was. I'm going to zoom out of the picture, and then I'm going to go here to the picture. Now for her picture, sometimes you might need to adjust it. I cropped out the edges, and then I adjusted her picture a little bit, brightened it up some so that it would blend in with the picture, with the page, the chip bag that I'm going to put it on. So I'm going to switch back to the chip bag. I'm going to click on the little girl here on my bottom tray, it brings up a small menu of her page. It looks like this whole page is just a miniature size of the one you click on, and then I'm going to choose the picture I want, which is the one I cropped, and I'm just going to drag that up and drop it in the picture. And actually, she's about the size she needs to be. I need to make her a little smaller so that her face will blend in with the size of theirs, because that will be what puts her in the right proportion with them. So I'm just going to shrink her down because she's kind of small. So therefore her face would be a little smaller than theirs. And I think that will work. So I'm just going to move her up, put her like right here at the corner, not the corner, at the edge of the guy, and she'll be a little bit behind the skirt of Tangled. So I'm going to click here because now she's the top picture because I just dropped her in, dragged her and dropped her in, and I'm going to left click on her, and I'm going to drag her down just one layer behind Tangled and the guy. And as you can see, now she's in the picture, she's behind them, and she's in front of the horse, so it puts her in the right position where she's actually looks like she could be a part of the picture. And to make her blend in even further, you see this little white, like a thin white glow going down the back of Rapunzel. So I'm going to add a thin white glow to this side of Talia. And I'm going to do that and I can even bring her up a little bit so that it's showing that she's in the foreground because she'll be over everything that I didn't crop. She'll be in front of that. So I could bring her up where she's touching the hair a little bit, so it really makes it look like she's a part of the picture. And you could use this technique to do all kinds of things, like putting yourself in money and things like that. So I'm going to turn her a little bit so it'll look like she's standing up more straight. And then I'm going to go here to Edge Effect, Highlight Edge. I'm going to click on you're seeing this choice, and you see how it put this thick edge around her. Actually, I think I'm going to use a shadow instead because I only want it on one side. So instead I'm going to go here. While I still have her chosen, I'm going to go to Special Effects, Shadow, which is the second choice on the first row. I'm going to click that, and I'm going to click Soft Shadow. And if you see that, I'm going to take it off. You see when I click soft shadow, it instantly puts a little soft shadow around her. And now I'm going to go to customize the shadow, and I'm going to change it to white so that it will match the glow that's around Rapunzel. Now once I move it, I can move this shadow wherever I want, but I only want it showing just a little bit so it will give her the same little glow on that side like Rapunzel has. And all these little things will make your pictures stand out and stand out while blending in with the rest of the scene. So I'm just trying to mimic the light edge that's on Rapunzel. So I'm just going to put just that little light shadow. I'm going to move it up a little bit. Have just that edge of white on her side, and then I'm going to soften it a little bit so it won't look unrealistic. So by clicking here on Edge Softness, I can soften it. You can harden it all the way where it's a solid shadow, or you can take it down and just make it a soft shadow. So now it looks more like a soft shadow, which looks more like the one that's on Rapunzel. And little details like this, I like to add in to, make everything really look good and really look like it belongs. So now I have her incorporated in the picture. Next, her name is Talia, and I want to make a sign here, or the message here that says Happy Birthday, Talia. So I've found the logo, Tangled. I'm going to use the letters from Tangled to make her name. So her name is Talia, T-A-L-E-A-H. So I'm going to go to Cutout and Picture, Cutout of Picture, by Color Selection, and I'm going to take the T, I'm going to take the A, I'll take this N, and I'm going to take the L, in order to make that into an H as well as use it as an L, and I'm going to take this E. So those are the 5 letters that I need, and I'm going to hit next and done. And now I'm going to bring these down here, and I can get rid of this top one. And now I'm going to go ahead and make these black for now, just so they'll stand out more, and you'll be able to see exactly what I'm doing. So now I have the letters that I need to change it into Talia. So I'm going to go to cutout and picture, cut out of picture by tracing on my own. And first I'm going to cut the T and the A out together, because the first 2 letters of her name are T and A. And I'm going to crop that out. You don't have to make it perfect, just as long as you're just encircling or encompassing the ones that you actually want to cut. I'm going to hit the flag, I'm going to hit done, and then I'll move those letters down. Next, I need the A by itself to go with Talia, so I'm going to go back here to cut out in picture, choose the first one on the first row, cut out of picture, once again by tracing on my own, which is the second choice, and then I'm going to get just that A by itself. And I'm making sure that I'm not going to be cutting off any of the edges of the letter. I'm going to hit the flag, change it to yellow, go ahead and change it to green, hit done. I'll bring that down. And then I need the L and the E for her name, so I can cut those 2 out together again, and then I'll cut the L out again to make it into the H. So I just used a square for that one, since it was already kind of separated. So now I'm going to move these over closer to the T and the A. I'll bring the A over, and now all I have to do is make the H. So to make the H, I'm going to use the N and the L. So I'm going to go to cutout and picture, and many times if I want the exact font and I can't find the exact font, I just go to Google and I type in, you've already seen me do all the cuts, so I'm just going to talk on this part, but I just go and I'll type in, like I typed in tangled font or tangled text, and sometimes it'll bring you up the alphabet of that text. And so once you have that alphabet, you can go through and cut out the letters that you need, just like I'm doing here, and then use that to make the name of the person, or whatever you want the message to be. You can usually always find it like that with a full alphabet and the numbers and the exclamation marks. You can usually always find it like that. And I just find one by typing in high res before what I'm searching for. It always brings up high resolution copies of it, or at least good enough copies where you can find one that you can actually use to make any of the words you need. So now I'm going to put the H here, and now all I have to do is cut out my N. So I'm going to go right here by tracing on my own. I'm going to just get that in. And hit the flag, hit done. I'm going to bring the N down, and now I'm going to see where I want to add in my letter. So I'm going to add it in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut this front portion off of the N. So I'm going once again to cut out of picture by tracing on my own, and I'm just going to make a line right there and just take this portion out. Hit the flag again and done. Delete the full N, and then I'm going to bring in my L, and all of a sudden you have a H. I'm going to just go outside of both of those, drag across so that I could group them both together without getting any other letters involved. I'm going to go ahead and hit that puzzle piece, and now I have the name of the birthday girl. So I can get rid of this now. I'm going to go ahead and cut this so it'll be one piece. Here on the layer section, you see it's lots of layers, so I'm just going to go back here to cut out and picture, cut out of picture, which is the first choice, and then I choose with a cookie cutter shape, which is the last choice in the menu. And now I'm just going to hit done and done. Move that up, group all these and hit delete to get rid of them. And now I have Talia's name. So I'm going to go back to my chip bag and I'll drag this. You left click on it, drag it up and drop it. I have it here. And now I'm going to see how it'll look if I change it to the pink of her dress. I'll move it closer to her so that it will be noticed that's what I'm taking it from. I'm going to go here to paint and color effects, fill with a solid color. It defaults to red, and then anywhere you click in the picture, as you've seen, it'll change to that color. So I'm going to leave it on that pink right there. I think I want to make it a little pinker. So I'm just going to go here and slightly pull it over to the left a little bit, which will make it more pink. I'm going to hit done. And then I try to make it look like it still belongs on this page. I'm going to put an outline around it in the darker blue. So I'm going to go here to paint and color effects. I'm going to go to edge effects. I'm going to click highlight edge, which is the first choice on the first row. It automatically brings up all these choices. I'm going to click on this one, which is called thick under. As you can see, when you hover, it will tell you the name of it, and it made that outline red. I'm going to change it to blue by clicking on customize the edge, hit the color wheel, it turns into a dropper, and then I can click anywhere in here to pick up the blue that I want. So wherever you click, it'll change to that color. And I think I want to make that color a little more vibrant, so I'm just going to hit a couple of times up on the saturation and give it more of a vibrant look, and then I'm going to hit done and done and done. So now I've brought in the little pink that Talia likes, and it's not standing out enough for me. So usually if it doesn't stand out enough from the background, what I'll do is I'll go to cutout in picture, add a colored shape. I'll change that shape to white, or I could change it to the color of that orange a little bit. Hit done and done. I'm going to shrink this down enough so that it will just be behind the Talia, or maybe I'll put it up a little higher and put the happy birthday on there too. I'm going to take that rectangle that I just made, I'm going to drag it under Talia. And then the next thing I'm going to do, and you saw me do this in the wedding magazine, I'm going to make that box transparent so that you can see the background through it. So I'm going to click on the rectangle. I'm going to go here to special effects. I'm going to choose the third option in the first row, which says make transparent. And then the more you slide this toward the right, the more transparent it becomes. And I want it pretty transparent, but I want it light enough so that the Talia pops out a little more from the background, and I think that'll work. And I don't like the hard edge, so I'm going to soften that so it blends in more with the picture. So I go here, while I've still chosen that rectangle, I'm going to go here to edge effects. I'm going to choose the third choice in the top row, which is soft edge. And then as you drag it toward the right, that edge starts to fade, as you can see. And once it fades in enough where it doesn't stand out like it was standing out at first, you just hit done. And then you could still resize this if you wanted to pull it out more, you can. But I think that will look just fine, because I want to keep the luminaries behind it. So now I'm going to add a shadow to this to make this pop out, the Talia pop out even more. So I'm going to go here to special effects, shadow, which is the second choice on the first row. This time I'm going to make the soft shadow, but I'm going to offset it a little bit, so as you can see, it lifts it up off the page. I'll pull it out so you can see it. And now I'm just going to click back so I can start fresh for where it was before. And I'm going to bring it down a little bit, drag it out to the side, and then you can further customize it because by making it a little softer. So I just clicked on customize, and then I'll drag it over a little bit, or I could use the up and down arrows to soften it up so that it doesn't look so harsh, but it's still, you could still see that it separates it from the page. I'm gonna hit done and done. And next I need to put happy birthday, and I think I'm gonna just put that in some type of cursive writing because I don't have the rest of the, didn't want to cut out the rest of the letters. So I'm just going to see if I can use one of these other fonts to make it still look nice. I'm going to type happy birthday. Move it up here to the top. Change the color by going here to the color wheel and then choosing any color up here that I want to choose. I think I want to go with the pink again. Hit done. I'm going to apply that edge effect to the lettering. I can do it within this function. So I'm going to click here on apply special effects, which is right under the color wheel. I'm going to go up here to highlight the edge. I'm going to choose the same one with the thick edge. I'm going to choose customize the edge. Click on the color wheel, and then I'm going to choose the blue that's around Talia. And once again, as you can see, it came in a little dull, and I'm just going to enrich it by clicking on saturation until I get it to the color that I like, which is that richer blue that looks more like a royal blue. If that doesn't do it for you, you could still even go in here and enhance it even more by moving the little circle, or the little looks kind of like a little button inside of the inner ring. That changes the hue for you. And so I'm going to go ahead and leave it there. I'm going to hit done, but I want to make this edge thicker so it'll match this thick edge, and it'll make it all blend in together better. So I'm just bringing it out some to make it as thick as this border is. Looks like I need to come out a little more. Yeah, that looks good. I'm going to hit done and done and done again and done again, because I went into a feature within the feature. And then I can shrink this down, or if I wanted to, I could have it, coming up over the edge so it looks like it's over the edge. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to add the shadow behind that so that it will stand out a little bit from the background as well. So I'm just going to click on it, go to special effects, shadow, to add a shadow, which is the second choice in the top row. I'm going to put a soft shadow on there, and then I'm going to drag it a little bit out so that it's going a little bit down and to the left, just like the bottom. Of course, you always want to have your lettering shadowing the same way. I could have done them together if I wanted to, but since I did them separately, I just kept going. Alright, so I'm going to hit done and done with that. Then I'm going to zoom out so you can see how this is coming along. And I think that's looking good, because I needed to incorporate the pink in there, because some of the other treats, I'll be making color books. They want the games, so I'm going to be also doing a tutorial on how I make the oversized tic-tac-toe game. But now this gives you the basic setup for your chip bag. Now to finish up the chip bag, I just brought up the usual things I put on the back. I have my QR code that I usually put on the bottom right of the bag. So to bring that up, I just clicked on the page that I have it open on. It brings up the little sub menu, as I said, and then I click on the image, left click on the image, and then it shows up in the little layers panel that's in the mini menu, and then I just drag it in by clicking on it with the left mouse button and dragging it into my image. And now, as you can see, I have my QR code, and I have it set up so that I can change it to match anything that I'm designing. So you see the little puzzle piece here. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to click to open that up, and then I click on my QR code, and then I can go to pick paint and color effect, fill with a solid color, and then I can change it to any color that I want it to be that matches my background or whatever project I'm working on. So I'm going to go with the blue today since that's what I've been dealing with, and hit done. I'm going to go out to the side and drag across both of those, the font and the white square and everything, so that I can get it all together. Hit the puzzle piece, and then I shrink it down, place it where I want it. I usually put it here close to the bottom on the right side. Then I drag up my business card, and I'll put my business card here too, which is where you'll probably want to put yours if you want it to look more authentic like the packaging. You'll put the birthday code over here, or the birthday facts over here. So put that there. We have our thank you. Then you can usually download a fake UPC code, universal price code, and then I normally will just put the person's birth date or the event date underneath it where the numbers go. I'll put the person's birthday or any kind of message you want to put. And then last but not least, I'm going to drag up my birthday facts, and once again I have this set up so that I can easily change it. So I just click here, and then I can go in and change each one of these facts by right clicking, edit text. I'll just change it to birthday facts for now, but I won't change all the rest because it'll take too long, but I'll do the rest of them before I of course print the bag. So now you have your finished chip bag. If you wanted to add like whatever chip is in there, you could, because she loves Doritos, so I could put the Doritos logo here if I wanted to, or I could put a picture of a Dorito here. So most of the time I will do that on the back just because I like the front of my design to stay as it is. So I'll put like a little logo here to show what's in the bag. But of course, you know, you do it whichever way you'd like. So that's the completed chip bag. If you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. Hit the bell if you want to be notified the minute I have up new items. Thank you once again for stopping by. I'll show you the finished look, and I'll see you next time.